Not all VA lenders are built the same. Boy, isn't that the truth? Let's get after it. Hey, VA Nation, Jeff Newton here with National VA Loans, powered by Stride Bank. Contact us here. It's 855-956-4040. Of course, you can subscribe somewhere in here. I don't know. We always switch it around, but subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay current or up to date with all the current information on VA home loans and really just things that are happening in the VA world that might pertain to you. All right, so today I want to talk about how not all VA lenders are built the same, because they're not. They really, really aren't. And different VA lenders have different criteria to work there. They have different roles and different people, and they work differently. Some of them are more like a assembly line where you're working with 17 different people throughout the process. Some are more like us here at National VA and Stride Bank, where you've got your VA specialist and the team that's built around him in order to help move the loan forward and get everything working in the right direction. And of course, those things are going to differ from company to company. It's just kind of what preference you like and how you like to be treated. But one thing that I really want to talk about today is I want to show you the difference between costs between different VA lenders that are out there. Now, I can't speak for everyone. I can speak in generalities about other companies and things that we see, because we see other companies, what we call loan estimates all the time. We know exactly what they're looking at, and we got a pretty good idea of how they do those things. And then, of course, I can really drill in on how we do it here at National VA and Stride Bank. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys, because I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. So let me pull this up here, and let's just go right here. Of course, to start out, I have got John J. Rambo. All right, he is our borrower. I think Rambo gets a lot of, well, he doesn't get the flowers it deserves. Rambo is a pretty damn good movie. And in fact, I was pointed out by another really a good veteran of ours that we've done a loan with, that Rambo is also a Christmas movie. And you know what? You're right. It is actually a Christmas movie. That's a complete different argument that we can all have at a different time. Now, if you don't think it's a Christmas movie, I completely understand. But you probably also don't think Die Hard's a Christmas movie either, which we'd have to argue on that fact. And I think you all know we'd have to argue on that. But let's kind of get into it. And this is just what we see on an application side of things. This is a borrower that lives in Columbia, Missouri. They currently rent in Columbia. But they're a veteran and they're looking to buy their first home. You'll notice here we've got pretty good credit score, a 672 credit score. That's pretty good. Nothing wrong with that at all. And then they're looking at buying about a $360,000 home. We're just estimating a credit score of a note rate of about 6.25%. And I'm not going to go through all of this, excuse me, but I do want to kind of give you the basis of it. What I really want to talk about, because this rate is kind of arbitrary. You'll see people, have higher rates, lower rates, things like that, and everything in between. But one thing that we want to talk about that everyone has the ability to be somewhat similar on is cost. And I want to kind of give you an idea of what that looks like. So here at National VA Loans or Stride Bank, you can see we have two costs here for origination charges. One is the administration fee, which is really our processing and underwriting fee of $9.95. The other is a tax service fee of $85 for a total of $1,080. That's what you can expect when you're working with National VA and Stride Bank, is $1,080 or $1,080 in origination charges, which is by industry standard pretty low. Then of course you've got your standard appraisal cost, credit report. Now, just so you guys know, credit reports cost anywhere between $125, $160, depending on what's kind of all bulked up and wrapped into it. A credit is not just pulling a credit report anymore. It's fraud alerts and things like that. So, but on the VA does limit what an investor can charge for credit, which is limit to $100. So that's in there. Verification of employment. The borrower does have employment, so we have to verify that. I can remember when I first started doing those were pretty cost effective. Nowadays, they're getting a little bit higher in there. But I do want to also point out with National VA, you don't have a rate lock deposit or a rate lock fee. In order to lock your loan, we're not going to charge you a percentage of the loan amount or a flat fee just to lock the loan. Now, there may be a cost to getting the interest rate, but there's not a flat fee to the loan. Then like I said, these costs up here are all based on what lender you're using and what lender you're working with. And you know what? I'm going to take this off the screen just to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see. So these costs up here are just dependent on what lender you're working with. Then, of course, down here, appraisal fees are, typical credit report fee. These costs are pretty much the same across the board. Now, some people work these into different areas, but we kind of like to lay everything out so you can see it up front and you know exactly what you're working with. And then, of course, you have your homeowner's insurance for the first year's premium. That's always included on a purchase. And then any kind of escrows for your taxes and insurance. We build a reserve in there so that you make sure you're not ever behind or short, as they say, on your escrows. Title costs, those are going to range depending on location, depending on loan size and area. Those are different. We just pull those directly from a national title company and put them on here. And then, of course, any recording fees or any tax stamps, whether it be transfer tax or state tax stamps. Missouri and Columbia, they don't have a county or a state transfer tax. And then your pest inspection. That's one of the costs that everyone needs to understand is specific directly towards the VA loan. All VA loans, unless all VA loans need to have a pest inspection, depending on what state. Now, if you're in a super cool state, a lot of them like Minnesota, Michigan, things like that, you don't have to worry about a pest inspection. Of course, that's where you're going to want to call us here at 855-956-4040. And in fact, I'm going to put that number just across the bottom in case you guys do have any questions. Hopefully it doesn't get in the way of anything for you. But you can always call us here and talk to any of our VA specialists. So that's kind of give you an idea of between not only settlement charges, and I don't really care for how the mortgage kind of puts the settlement charges out there, because settlement charges, that includes, or like here where it says closing costs, those are not just closing costs. Those are also your escrows for your taxes, your insurance, and things like that. So a lot of times, and that's going to be the same kind of regardless of where you're at. Now, keep in mind, those are not going to be APR bearing charges. And that's really what I want to show you guys here. So, excuse me real quick. So we have a note rate of 6.25% and an APR of 6.3%. For those of you that don't know what APR is, let me kind of explain it a little bit. In fact, I will be happy to even search it up for you here so you can see that. What is an APR fee? What is APR? And it'll kind of give you an exact information. APR is just I'm going to share this portion of my screen also, guys. Sorry about that. I should have done that in the beginning. So stop sharing that. And we're going to start sharing this. And let's go to this screen. And what is APR? Let's share that right here. Okay, so you'll see here, annual percentage rate is a yearly interest rate that includes any fees associated with a loan or credit card. It's expressed as a percentage. So typically you see a higher APR, the higher, number one, your interest rate is, but also the higher your costs are. So if you have a cost if your APR cost, or if your costs of doing a loan are higher, that's going to increase your APR. Hopefully that makes sense. I feel like I kind of butchered that just a little bit. But so you'll notice here, 6.25% is a note rate, a 6.3% APR. That's a very, very low APR because we don't have a lot of those costs associated like that or with a loan. Now, here's where I say not all VA lenders are built the same. Is a lot of lenders will have their administration fee or their processing underwriting fee, but they will also have a 1% origination fee. Before I show you that, though, I want to scroll down here. So in this situation, we're going to take out this borrower or lender credit. We're going to remove that out of there. Let's just delete that. So in this situation, or in this scenario, our John J. Rambo is going to bring in $4,932.14 at closing. Okay. It's already applying as a $1,000 earnest deposit. So his entire cost to buy this home, including the zero down payment, is going to be right at $5,900. All right. So that's what's expected out of pocket for Mr. Rambo here. Now, and that's with doing the loan with National VA Loans, Stride Bank. Again, you've got the APR is 6.3. You know exactly what that is. You know what your interest rate is, 6.25. So that's where they're at. So in a situation where you might see with other lenders, some of the larger lenders out there, they like to charge an origination cost. So we're going to put in there a 1%, not 14, sorry, a 1% origination cost. That cost is now, it looks at $3,600. Now, keep in mind, this is an APR bearing fee, but it's also a cost that you're going to have to come to closing with. So, like I said, we were initially at a total out of pocket of $5,900. Now we're at a total out of pocket of $9,500. So that's a $3,600 increase to your out of pocket costs. And guys, this is a lot of what we see with some of the larger lenders out there. 9,500 compared to our 5,900 is a pretty big difference. I mean, think about it. When you're buying a house, what does that cost get associated with? What are you not going to be able to do? Are you not going to be able to buy the furniture you wanted? Are you not going to be able to take or pay the movers, guys? I mean, movers right now are expensive, and I don't know about you, unless you're in your 20s, moving is no fun at all. And shoot, it's hard to find a buddy to come over and move for pizza and beer anymore. Those days don't happen a lot. So you now are $3,600 deeper into this loan than what you would have been with, say, a National VA loans or in Stride Bank, and that costs money. But let's see how that number is associated with your APR and see what the overall costs are. Now, it goes from a 6.3 cost to a 6.396. So it's almost a 1% higher cost to do that loan with that 1% origination fee than what it would be to do the loan with National VA Loans and Stride Bank. At Stride Bank, National VA, we do not have an origination fee at all. What we do is, if we have our processing fee of, excuse me, of the 1,080, which is the processing underwriting administration fee, that's just to underwrite the loan and make sure everything goes smooth on your behalf and works through. So you don't have to worry about that. Now, again, there are lenders that you will have to pay that cost with, and some of them are the bigger lenders out there, and they have a lot of things to pay for, and I completely get it. But in this case, John J. Rambo there in Columbia, Missouri, I think would probably be calling us because he knows that he can get into this loan without the additional 1% in origination costs, which makes it pretty easy for them. Guys, for more information on this, then contact us. It's 855-956-4040. Ask for any of our VA specialists. Hell, ask for me. It's Jeff. Feel free to ask for me, and they'll make sure to get you over to me. But they can explain any of the costs that are associated with a loan. We're pretty transparent. We like to make sure that you know what's going on, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. We want to work through, and so that the next time you buy a house with us or you refinance, you know exactly what you're getting into, what fees you're paying, and what the costs are. There's nothing worse than surprises, and we try to eliminate all those in the beginning. Again, it is 855-956-4040. Of course, guys, this is big. To stay current or stay up to date with all the current information for VA home loans, VA mortgages, VA real estate information, things like that, check us out at youtube.com/National VA Loans. Again, click that subscribe button. I know it's around here somewhere, and make sure that you are up to date and current with all the information that's coming out for the VA and any home loans that, especially moving into the new year. Again, if you're a little bit proactive and you like to just get stuff done, check out nationalapplynow.com. Go in, complete the application right there. It's super easy. It's super secure, and it'll come right to a VA specialist. They'll be able to give you a call right away, go through all the different options that are available to you, and do what we like to do, which is make things happen. Guys, until next time, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for your service. Take care of yourselves, and God bless.